Hey guys, Max here to discuss with you some of the pitfalls and things to watch out for when hiring an SEO company. And this is part of our SEO pricing guide that we're currently working on, and by the time you're watching this video, will be unveiled to the general audience. It's essentially an article that is segmented with all the different things you need to think about and worry about and consider when hiring an SEO vendor. So the focus of this video is what to watch out for. Now, when you hire an SEO company or an SEO consultant, there are certain things that they might say that if they are saying in this year, this day and age, should be telltale signs that maybe they're not the right fit, or maybe they're still kind of stuck back in 2010 in terms of their mentality. Um, First and foremost, any SEO company that guarantees you page one rankings, probably avoid. Most SEO companies that are reputable know better than to say that or guarantee it, because they know that it's hard to guarantee, and they're more worried about their reputation because they want to be in this business for a while. So they're not going to mislead you, and they're not going to guarantee you anything. Pretty much any gentleman SEO company or vendor consultant will never guarantee it. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. Most of the time, what they'll say, and try not to misconstrue this, they'll say that SEO is a changing landscape and that they're confident they can deliver, but based on you know these case studies of someone who's similar to yourself, but they're not going to actually guarantee anything. It's just not going to be what they do. And this kind of ties into the next component, which is they're not going to guarantee you the number one spot on Google. A lot of the ones that do that are really these crash and burn type of operations where they're up for a day or a month and they close down next month. Um, it's just not possible in some cases, to be honest with you, because if you're up against Yelp, in their position one, the chances are you're probably not going to be able to do it. And normally, typically speaking, what we see is a trifecta. You'll normally see these shady vendors say, we'll guarantee you page one, we'll guarantee you the number one spot on Google, and we'll do it all for 199 bucks. In this day and age, you really can't do much with that amount of money besides nothing. Um, when you think about the cost of running a company, when you think about the costs of creating content, when you think about the costs of time investment necessary to reach out to other websites, $199 or $200, you really can't do much with that amount of money. So um, typically you'll see these things and you should run away from that vendor. It's not possible, and it's probably going to be a waste of your money. Um, the other thing that we normally see as a troubling sign nowadays is long-term contracts. Typically, most reputable vendors don't try to force you into a contract. They'll say that you should, do the service for a certain amount of months, so they'll recommend a time span through which the service should be run. But they'll never say, hey, you're stuck with us legally and for about a year. Doesn't happen as much. It used to be a standard, but people wisened up, and there's such an influx of SEO vendors who are all great at what they do that competition has made it so that you really can't be charging this annual contract. It doesn't work. I'd be very nervous if someone approached me and said, I want you to sign an annual contract with me. The next thing that you should be aware of is case studies. And I know that sounds kind of funny thing to say, but case studies can be misleading if you don't verify them. So when you ask an SEO company, one of the things you should ask about is, what references do you have? What clients are willing to vouch for you? What clients do you have that I could speak to? And you should definitely force them to give you examples of clients that they service and clients that you can speak to, because it immediately forces them to prove what they're saying. And if you insist on the client referrals, and not just one, say two or three, you kind of trust, but you verify what they're saying. and it forces them to be very honest with you. But most of the time, you should ask for past case studies. You should ask for not just the case study itself, but ask if the client involved in the case study is still working with them. And most of the time, what we see is a lot of vendors will show you case studies, but they're actually not even working with a client anymore. And you ask why, and it's like, oh well, something happened. But what happened was the client got into a penalty, or something happened along those lines, and the company got fired. So while the case study is impressive, doesn't reveal it actually is bad for the agency because they got fired. So you should definitely not only see if there are case studies available, but see if they're still working with the client, because that's a good sign. It means that this company is in it for the long haul. And any reputable company will have case studies and a track record. It's the hallmark of any established brand. Um, and so really in this video, what we want to emphasize are the telltale signs that should immediately you know lead you to either question why you're talking to this company and maybe move on to another vendor, or at the very least, keep you on your toes when you hear things that don't sound right or don't sound funny in this day and age. And if you go back to the SEO pricing guide that is in the footer of this video, you'll see other things and other questions to ask SEO vendors and other telltale signs. But for this video and for this segment, that's it. Continue reading our SEO guide, and we look forward to seeing you guys again.